What actually happened behind closed doors at the wedding of the decade? Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are officially married, and in the weeks since their ceremony, new details have been leaking out one by one. From who was actually on the guest list, to what was said in their vows, to the real story behind Taylor's dress. This was one of the most anticipated celebrity weddings in years, and it did not disappoint. By the end of this video, every confirmed detail will be laid out. The guest list surprises, the vows, the dress, the unexpected celebrity involvement behind the scenes, and what this wedding says about where these two go from here. How we got here. So how did this couple even get to the altar? Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce started dating back in the summer of 2023. What began as a football stadium romance quickly turned into one of the most talked about relationships in the world, with millions of fans tracking every stadium appearance, every red carpet, and every hint about where things were heading. In August of 2025, the couple confirmed their engagement, sending social media into an absolute frenzy. From that moment on, wedding speculation became non-stop. Fans debated the venue, the guest list, the dress, and the date for almost a full year. That wait finally ended on July 3, 2026, when the couple tied the knot in New York City in front of roughly 1,000 guests, a number that alone tells you how massive this event actually was. The guest list surprises, so who actually made the cut for one of the most exclusive guest lists in recent memory? Details about the guest list have trickled out gradually, and a few names caught fans completely off guard. Adam Sandler reportedly played a role in the wedding that insiders say was years in the making, which surprised many fans who did not expect him to be involved at that level. Beyond that, reports point to a mix of music industry names, NFL teammates, and longtime friends from both sides of the couple's world. That combination made sense given how the relationship started, but seeing football culture and pop music culture collide in one room was still a major moment for fans watching from the outside. The size and exclusivity of the guest list also fueled plenty of speculation about who was left off, with a few notable names missing entirely, something tabloids have been dissecting ever since. The vows that made headlines. Here is where things get emotional. Details about the couple's vows became public thanks to television host George Stephanopoulos, who shared insight into the ceremony, describing the exchange between Taylor and Travis as deeply loving. While the full text of their vows has not been released publicly, the general tone described by those in attendance suggests a ceremony that leaned personal and heartfelt rather than overly produced or performative. For two people who built their public relationship partly in football stadiums and award show cameras, that kind of intimacy stood out to guests. Several reports describe the moment as one of the more emotional parts of the entire event, with guests visibly moved during the exchange. This detail matters because it shifts the narrative slightly. Instead of just being remembered as a celebrity spectacle, the wedding is increasingly being described by attendees as something that felt genuinely personal despite its massive scale. The dress reveal. Now let's talk about the dress, because this detail alone became its own news cycle. Taylor wore a Dior Haute Couture gown for the ceremony, a major statement in itself given how closely her fashion choices are always analyzed. What made this even more interesting is that Taylor had reportedly dropped several subtle hints about her dress choice in the months leading up to the wedding. Small details that fans only connected in hindsight once the actual gown was revealed. That kind of breadcrumb trail has become something of a signature for Taylor throughout her career, whether it is album releases or now, apparently, wedding planning. Fans immediately began combing back through old interviews and public appearances looking for any other clues they might have missed. The dress reveal alone generated massive engagement online, with fashion outlets breaking down every detail of the design within hours of photos surfacing. Family details come out. So, what have people close to the couple said about the day itself? Taylor's aunt, Robin Gentry, shared some intimate details about the wedding, giving fans a rare family perspective rather than just outside reporting. Family insight like this is unusual for a couple who has otherwise kept most wedding details tightly controlled, which made these comments especially valuable to fans piecing together the full picture. These kinds of details, small personal moments described by someone who was actually there, tend to carry more weight than outside speculation, since they come directly from someone inside the family circle rather than an anonymous source. Why this wedding became bigger than just a wedding. So why did this single event dominate headlines for weeks instead of just a few days? Part of it comes down to timing. The wedding also intersected with America's 250th anniversary celebrations, adding an extra layer of cultural significance to an already massive event. When a celebrity wedding lines up with a major national moment, the immediate attention multiplies. The other part is simply the scale of both of their individual fame. Taylor is arguably the biggest pop star in the world, and Travis is one of the most recognizable athletes in the NFL. Combining those two fan bases created a level of interest that few celebrity weddings ever reach, closer to a national event than a private celebration. That combination is exactly why new details are still surfacing weeks later. There is simply too much public interest for the story to fade quickly, and outlets know that even small updates, like a dress detail or a vow description, will draw huge attention. What comes next? So where does this story go from here? Expect more details to continue leaking out gradually over the coming weeks. Additional guest list confirmations, more photos, and likely follow-up interviews from people who attended. Weddings at this scale rarely stay fully private, and with a guest list of 1,000 people, more information leaking out was always inevitable. For Taylor and Travis themselves, the real story now shifts to married life. How they balance her music career and his football career going forward, and whether fans get any hints about what comes next for the couple, whether that's new music inspired by this chapter of her life, or simply a quieter period out of the spotlight after years of intense public attention. From a stadium introduction in 2023 to a 1,000-guest wedding in 2026, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's relationship has played out almost entirely in public view. And their wedding was no different. Vows that moved a room, a dress that had fans decoding hidden clues, and family members finally offering a glimpse behind the curtain. This wedding proved that even in an age where everything leaks eventually, some moments still manage to feel genuinely personal. The countdown to the next update has already begun.